All right, what's going on, everybody? This is episode number 41 of the First and Framerates podcast. I myself is VF Baller, and I have my two excellent co-hosts with me. You know, they're back, and you know, when we all get together, it's always a good time. Today we have various topics, but before we get into those topics, I want my guys to introduce themselves. Bills, you can go first. Let us know what's going on with you.
Chilling, chilling. It's been a bit of a slow week, but I guess that's good because I could, take my time and play Red Dead Redemption 2. Other than that, just rehearsing some songs for these gigs I'm about to start doing, and done a little bit of recording, but nothing too much. So yeah, I've been good.
That's good. Cool, cool, cool. Still grinding, still doing what you got to do. Nothing wrong with that. We all should be grinding to be better, be great, and do what's best for others in our circle. DJ, what's going on? How's the new job working for you?
And that's what's been keeping me off the show. We've been get back to late on Wednesday nights. But, other than the new job, everything's been good. Redskins are 5-2, tops of the NFC East. And
That's actually surprising. A lot of people
yeah,
didn't. A lot of people didn't look into that and thought that'd be the case.
with the team the way they're set up right now, it's a throwback. That's basically what I see. It's just a straight throwback.
Yeah, speaking of
And I'm
that,
happy.
speaking of we're going to talk about these trades in the NFL, and your guys had a pretty decent trade. I want to talk about. We're also going to talk about this
Uh, uh,
situation in Maryland. Just pretty much been breaking news throughout the day. I haven't really been up to speed on it, but that's where my co-hosts, these guys come in. They know about it more than I do, and like I said, with the trades, the Maryland situation. But we haven't really talked about the game and stuff because last time we got cut off, so we definitely gonna go into that first. Everybody know that Red Dead Redemption 2 was just released this week, and it's been getting a lot of attention, a lot of praise. Personally, I think it's a very, very good game. I've been on it ever since I've got it, and I'm not saying I can't put it down because I've been playing some NCAA 14 as well, but this is a very immersive game, and it's easily. I think it's easily the best game of this generation. You know, I can't say Last of Us because that was actually a PS3 game. Uncharted 4 is nice, but no, I don't think it's better than this. I made a case where I thought this game was slightly better. Well, God of War was slightly better, but once I started to think about it, if God of War was on the level how it was last gen when it was God of War 3, when it was more a little bit open, and they used that type of mechanic for it, I could make a better case. But I think Red Dead 2 is easily the best game of this generation. I'm gonna let you guys have at it and let you guys talk about your experience with the game. Y'all can pick who go first.
You go,
Bill, so you can go first.
of course. Um, uh, I mean, I already have it as a top three game of all time in my opinion. Definitely, probably first or second that I've played. Um, it's just the graphics are amazing, but it's an afterthought when you look at the gameplay aspects. I mean, the hand-to-hand combat is ridiculous when you're fighting somebody. The gunplay is amazing. Um, it's so organic. Everything is organic. It's a living world, a living, breathing world around you. People that you have interactions with, they recognize you if you cross paths with them again. Um, you have other things like I talked to DJ before about. He brought up the fact that the rocks slide when you're walking on that type of surface. You also have situations where you have a lot of choices you have to make, whether you want to save somebody that's hanging off a cliff, things like that. These things could possibly come back to bite you later in the story. I mean, overall, I've just never seen a game that is this organic and this um, just intuitive and immersive, honestly.
Yeah, I can agree. I mean, I always thought that I even though Grand Theft Auto 5, it's still another Rockstar game, was a really good game. And I know this may be not popular, but I didn't find Grand Theft Auto 5 as immersive as Red Dead Redemption 2. I'll be honest. I haven't found Grand Theft Auto 5 as immersive as Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, which me personally, I think that's my one of my greatest, probably the greatest game of all time for me. Because I mean, that game changed the way I looked at games in general. But I mean, that's just another topic. But as far as everything that you said about the game, I think is spot on. I can't disagree with anything that you said. I've been on the straight and narrow, trying to do things the right way. Maybe it'll come back and to bite me, but I've been doing so much killing in other games, so I've been trying to do the right thing and see how it goes. And DJ, I know you talked about this earlier that you weren't trying to do all that. So let everybody know. So yeah, exactly. So let everybody know your experience with Red Dead 2.
Man, I spared nobody. Well, I've spared a few people here and there, but horses can catch it too. So,
hey, you ain't seen them videos? Them horses will kick your ass.
Yeah, just to let everybody know, just go follow me on Twitter, DJ81 on Twitter. You see the video. Well, actually, no, it's a picture. I actually have a video of me robbing somebody after they didn't speak to me. So my experience, just like Bill's, is organic. So I know in that little clip, I said hi to the person. He didn't speak too kindly, so I was just like, let's rob this nigga. I let him go past, and I put on the mask, and then I ambushed him and just walked up on him and was like, hey, give it up.
He wanted no smoke at all.
Nope, just tossed me his little coin. Got like, what was it, $1.43, $1.60 something, which was a lot of money back then.
I was about to say, I was like, yo, you came up.
In mind, $1.63 now don't mean shit. So it's one of those things where the features, the gameplay features like that are pretty cool. The interactions, yes, they do remember what you do, your decisions, your choices, they all matter. And really the finer details, like Bill's mentioned, the rock sliding, if you like encounter loose rocks on the cliffside, the Euphoria engine is very much present in this one. I've actually ran into a case, and Bill's was a witness to it, where I was chasing somebody, and I wasn't able to, my horse didn't jump over the fence, and it literally ran into the fence. The horse fell, and I flew like face first. I did a total face plant.
Shout out to Backbreaker.
I know, right? And
that horse's trust is real. The chemistry you got.
Oh yeah, I've noticed that too.
You have to constantly pet the horse. You have to constantly feed it so it doesn't go underweight. It also, the core system, the way you have to take care of yourself. It's like it's bringing elements. Let me just say it like this: they bring elements from San Andreas, GTA. What was it? GTA San Andreas.
Yeah, because in San Andreas you had to take care of your body in San Andreas.
And then when you talk about the fighting and the combat system from GTA 4, and also how with the gunplay, certain body parts you shoot gets a different reaction. It's not like, I felt like Grand Theft Auto 5 dropped the ball when it came to the gunplay and the fighting mechanics.
But with Red Dead Redemption, they look like they went back to Max Payne 3.
Yes. That's exactly what happened.
I'll say this just real quick. As far as the hand-on-hand combat, I'll say this. This game that I'm about to bring up, it sucked other than this. Stranglehold.
Okay.
Stranglehold had intuitive mechanics for combat on that game that was pretty much the only saving grace for that game. Other than being able to dive side to side and shoot. I mean, the game sucked.
Yeah, I didn't finish that game either. I know what you mean, though. I didn't.
It was garbage. It was garbage. It did have destructible environments. I mean, it was garbage. The story was bad. It was just bad. But as far as the hand-on-hand combat, I definitely get what you're saying with the GTA 4 comparison. Stranglehold was similar to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that GTA 4, their hand-to-hand combat was like really, really good.
Yeah.
Right.
And those ragdoll physics too were
right, because GTA 5, when they took that step back, it was like everybody you can drop with one punch, and even with Red Dead Redemption 2, going back to GTA 4's combat system, not everyone, takes the same amount of hits. Like you can literally one hit quit somebody,
Right, and
put somebody to sleep.
And the counter punches was like really good in GTA 4 too. Like it felt real how they would duck and dodge a punch. It's like they brought that back, so that was great.
And you can grab and toss to the side. I think you at least you can grab. So
I know you can
good.
toss them to the ground because I know I had a fight in the saloon where I tossed somebody over a table.
Mm-hmm.
But something quick with the chemistry with the horse. I had a situation where we were climbing a mountain and we saw a bear, and my horse started to go batshit crazy.
Yeah. He will get spooked if you see a bear.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you had to pet it, and you had to make sure that he was okay. Yeah, and reassure him, everything's all right. Because we weren't even gonna take that path. Like I went around the other way, because that horse would have dipped on me. Yeah. I know for a fact it would have. I mean, also if you continue to bucket and try to make it sprint, it'll actually buck you off.
Yeah, I remember that from the first Red Dead.
Yeah.
When the first Red, I learned the hard way playing the first Red Dead. He would stop and just throw you off.
There's another fine detail that I don't think a lot of people talk about, and I talked to Bills about this earlier. When you hunt, use the dead eye function to see where your scent is going.
Right.
Yep.
So that way, that adds that element of, okay, well, I'm hunting, I see deer yonder, and if my scent carries towards them, I'm probably not going to get too close. But if I think you can, if you can if your scent's going away from them, you'll have a better chance of sneaking up.
Right, because if they
smell you, closer shot.
Yeah, because if they smell you, they'll go away.
And then on top of that, you can craft cover scent. So it's like many things that you can do. And then you do have a bow and arrow, so you can use a bow and arrow, rifle, pistol, whatever you want. Mm-hmm. But even while you're hunting, there's still random events that could interfere with hunting and other activities that you get to do. It seemed like the activities that you're able to do, it's like they put GTA's online features and sets into Red Dead Redemption 2 single player.
Another thing that's small, but I think is really nice, they borrowed from Hitman, was you can pick up a body and hide it.
Yeah, I did that earlier.
I killed somebody that I got in an altercation with, and two guys riding horseback came around and saw the body in the bush and actually reported it. And I thought I hit it well enough, but I didn't.
Right.
So that's just another interesting thing.
I think Rockstar in the Grand Theft Auto series and now with Red Dead Redemption, I think they've done a masterful job at creating a world instead of just creating a game. When you got Grand Theft Auto 3 and you first saw, the 3D world was living in Liberty City and you saw everybody moving, you thought that was a big deal. Yeah, that was a big deal back in 2001. It was like, oh my God, these guys, got it. And then they just kept expanding on it. Obviously they took a step back from San Andreas to Grand Theft Auto 4, but the elements are still there. Like they haven't lost a step, even when you thought they did. So,
and that's the one thing in Red Dead Redemption 2 that they have that I wish they had in GTA 5 was dudes that you have smoke with. If you should be able to see them around town, and it should be like smoke on sight. You know what I'm saying? Like it should be, if I see you, like it's on and popping.
Right.
I get you have to do missions. You don't have to put the main bosses on the street, but if his boys, his cronies are out there, you should be able to see them. You know what I'm saying? It makes the world seem a bit more interactive. Like even in Watch Dogs, if you were wanted like constantly. So a cop couldn't just drive past your car and not notice you, even if the cops just pulled off their search. You would be wanted again.
Right.
So that's one of the things that they need to add in GTA. What they've already added in Red Dead Redemption 2 is just that feeling of like the ongoing story. Even when you're just in your leisure time driving around, you should still have to be aware of your surroundings and the people that you're around.
Well, you got to think about it. GTA is still, it's still the catalyst of the games, but at the same time, they build off of one another. You look at from Grand Theft Auto 3 Now I'm not going to talk about Grand Theft Auto 2 and 1. They were like totally different type of games.
Yeah.
But when you look at Grand Theft Auto 3, then even when they went back in time with Vice City, you know, all of a sudden your antagonist could talk.
Yep.
You know, they had motorcycles then. And San Andreas was like, no, we're not going to give you a city. We're going to give you an entire state. So San Andreas was like 3 cities in one. And then, you know, and even with Grand Theft Auto 4 and San Andreas, it took a step back, but still, you still had other elements that was in Grand Theft Auto 4 that kept branching on. Then Red Dead Redemption came, and then, you know, Grand Theft Auto 5, and then, you know, you had all these other games that they just basically build off of. And I'm not even talking about the Max Payne's, how they used the weapon wheel for Grand Theft Auto 5 from Max Payne, and then Max Payne 3, they took the shooting and they put it in Red Dead 2. So, I mean, literally, they took, like, if you get a nice little kill shot in Red Dead 2, they have the slow motion from Max Payne 3. You know, so, I mean, like you said about the situation with the cops or the police knowing who you are, GTA 6, I promise you it'll be there.
Yeah, it has to. I mean, because
I mean,
a
even,
lot of people
hold on.
want...
Before you even say something, look at the other Rockstar or the 2K game that came out, the tennis game. They basically took Top Spin and put it in Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like...
Because, I mean, it's like, that's the thing. GTA 5, everybody was so amped about all the activities, but half the time, if you run into people that you have spoken with, that could be an activity within itself.
Right. So it's
I'm
like...
saying it would save them from having to come up with all these different leisure time activities that they had, and, you know, it would make the game less repetitive, because in the environment that they were working in, Michael, Franklin, and Trevor, they could run into people at any time.
Right.
Because that's just how much smoke they had around the city. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean, like I said, best believe what you were talking about, I'll promise you in GTA 6, they'll probably have that and then some that they'll probably build on the next Red Dead. Or if they decide to make well, I'm not going to say Max Payne 4 because Max Payne is a totally different type of game outside of the open world of the, you know, the Red Deads and the... So basically, they'll build off one another as far as the Grand Theft Autos and the Red Dead Redemptions. But yeah, I mean, what you guys think at the end of the day? Is this like easily the best game of the generation?
Yes. I'll say there's a couple of
yeah.
games that are close, but I would say that this one is above the rest.
I'm basically trying to take all the sports titles out of it because I mean, 2K19.
I've been done that.
Right, 2K19 has a case, but that's a sports title, so it's a niche title. So as far as a game, is sports titles, are they really games, or we're just playing sports? You know what I mean?
The ones that come close are Horizon Zero Dawn, Uncharted 4, and God of War. I can
say Horizon Zero Dawn has a really good case. God of War, like the ones you mentioned do have a case, but this possibly, like I said, I could probably say this is the best game. I want to get more into it to know, because the things you can do in the game takes a lot of time, but I need to know, like, with the storyline and how it goes, will this be a memorable game when, like, not the PS5, but let's say the PS6 come out, or like when the not the next Xbox, but the Xbox after that comes out, because when you look at gaming and games that are memorable, people still have fond memories of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
And that's why, despite the fact that GTA 5 might be the deepest game of the series, GTA 4 actually has the highest Metacritic score.
Right. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's another thing, like, best game of all time, or one of the top games of all time is the ones that are most memorable. I mean, a lot of people still remember Metal Gear Solid 1. It's like a phenomenal game. You know what I'm saying? You know, so I'm not saying that it can't be, but... You know, when you really look at it, I think history will tell us what it is. Because people, I mean, my God, people still swear by Metal Gear Solid 1 like it's one of the greatest ever, you know? I mean, even some of the Silent Hill games. Resident Evil 1. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, those type of games. But anything y'all want to talk about on top of that as far as gaming before we jump into the other stuff?
I think we can go into the other stuff. I said all I needed to say about Red Dead.
I mean, we could talk. We could talk about Black Ops 4.
Not really much
That's
to
okay.
talk about. I mean, it's a really good game, and
It's
Yeah.
a lot better than I thought it'd be. It really
oh,
is.
you know what? You know what? You know what? Me and DJ, Blackout. So I got a story.
Oh, so you got it on
Okay.
PS4?
Yeah.
All right, good to know.
So me and DJ, we played. What was it? 4 games that night? 5.
Yeah, we played like I think 5 games, but 4. at least.
So, yeah, because we played 4 and then we took a break and we were looking for the footage. So yeah, 5 games. So, we had like minimal success the first couple games. We just kind of had bad luck based on where we dropped. But the 4th game, everything just kind of came together, and we had a couple hairy situations we had to get out of, but we got out of them. And we finally got to the final 2. Well, I should say the final 5. We were in the top 5. So there was a group of 2. There was a team of 2 that went up and killed a guy that was by himself. He was running solo because his teammate was dead. And the circle was closing in. I should say the storm was closing in. And I was like, DJ, you want to just go after these dudes? He's like, yeah, fuck it. So he gives me covering fire. I go around and flank one of them. I don't got no damn bullets.
Yeah.
It's either gun VF.
Oh
and
wow.
they were clearly focused on me because I had an LMG and I was just firing bullets away, and I got clapped in the process of it. But it was enough of a distraction that if Bills would have had some bullets, he probably would have taken them both out and we would have won.
Oh, that's awesome.
Dude, I had perfect positioning. The dude had no idea where I went. Hell, he might not even. Well, I'm sure he knew I was in the game, but he had no idea where I was. I would have rolled up and shot him, and his boy at his back turned too. But by that time, there was no gun to pick up or nothing. We were just like out of luck. So that sucked.
Yeah, I can imagine that does suck. But I mean, I need to get on that with y'all because I mean I've played like the control is a mode on it called control. I'm like fascinated with that because it's like you take areas or whatever on the map. I haven't really gotten a blackout, so I mean, you know, anytime this weekend if y'all want to play.
You know what I'm saying? For a couple of games, Blackout is really the shining star of that entire game.
And they just released an update to where they upped the player count for blackout for single to 100. So it's official instead of it being 88, and I think all the others are 88.
Okay.
Still, so
I think they did a good job with this Call of Duty. I really do. I mean, at the end of the day, because the Call of Duty's just been stagnant for the past few years, and I think this is the first time I actually say, hey, I actually like a Call of Duty title.
I would say this is definitely the best one since Black Ops 2.
Right.
It's really close.
And I have to actually say that Battlefield, I'm like, everyone knows Battlefield has been in trouble since the get-go.
Well, since they got away from the Battlefield 4 genre or aspect.
Well, it's the fact that now they're doing their they loosened their interpretation of past wars, and it's just like now they got into the PC agenda and stuff like that, and it's just like, no, just stick with the formula you had with Battlefield 1, just correct the gameplay errors and add in the Battle Royale, which was the last straw because the Battle Royale for Battlefield won't be ready until early 2019.
Yeah, I think it's like March or something like that.
buried.
I think it's like March or something like that.
And honestly, as a preference, I really would just prefer for them to come back to modern times, man.
Yes.
Exactly. Just give us a Battlefield 4.5 or you know,
or a Bad Company.
Or a Bad Company 3. Yeah, exactly.
That story is still unfinished.
I mean, it's amazing. Like Battlefield 4 is like still an amazing shooter to this day. Like people are still playing that game, not just on PC but console. I mean, I think I posted it the other day. Like I did the comparison to the Hardline to Battlefield 4 on PC. It's like no, there were literally like 23 people on Hardline, literally.
So it's awful.
Yeah, and Battlefield 4 has like their servers are like completely full. I'm talking about like 64 players full on PC. I haven't looked at the servers on PS4 or Xbox One, but it's amazing how that game is still, you know. Listen, Battlefield 4, you can't say it because it's a PS3 game. It's probably still like the best shooter of this generation.
But see, what's crazy is that's how you know Hardline was bad, because Black Ops 4 is still popping. But if you go on World War II, there's still a lot of people on World War II. Hardline just was not a good game.
The concept was great.
The concept was amazing. The execution was
horrible.
I mean,
just
I
would have
mean,
been
God, do
better
you remember the first day we played in the respawn spots? We're
Oh
just,
God!
oh,
I think me and you had that one time when the game was actually fun. When we was chasing people with RPGs in the
yeah,
cars.
mm-hmm,
That was like
yeah.
the only time it was fun. But
Hotwire was the only time.
yeah, because we was chasing people in the cars and blowing them up with RPGs. But
Yep.
like after that, the game was terrible.
It was bad.
That game would have been good as an expansion pack.
That's
to
but that's what it
Battlefield,
felt
and
like.
not a full-fledged $60 game with
That
with
really
a
is what it
premium
felt like.
Yeah.
add on to that.
That's
So,
what it felt
yeah.
like. It felt like a Battlefield 4 extension. And
Even when they showed gameplay at E3, it still seemed like an expansion pack. It didn't seem like it was a full game.
Now, one thing I will say, they did an amazing job with that trailer. That trailer was amazing.
Oh yeah,
They sold the hell out of it. They sold the shit out of Battlefield Hardline. That trailer made you want to buy the game.
The issue was the game only had like 2 good maps, and those 2 good maps had horrible spawns.
I think at the end of the day, when you're playing with cops and robbers, and you got people running around with machine guns, that just wasn't a good fit.
And the melee weapons that they had were very OP.
Yeah, the nightstick was OP. You can hit. It was
Damn
like
everything.
It's like
was
the
OP.
the nightstick was the equivalent to the knife melee in Battlefield 4.
Yeah, it was.
Or what about the past Call of Duties with Commando Pro and stuff like that? Everybody remember
Call
that?
of Duty's even worse now because they have a riot shield with a machine pistol.
Yeah. Now, one thing I do like about Battlefield Black Ops 4 that
Battlefield Black
yeah,
Ops
you know what I mean. That's what I meant to say. Call of Duty. Jesus Christ, that just goes to show you how much I play Call of Duty. I don't play it much. I'm a Battlefield guy. Sorry, but when you play Black Ops 4. The one melee I do like is like when you literally use your hands, you use your fists, and you punch the shit out of. I do like that.
Issue is when they have armor, you get a hit marker, which is complete utter bullshit.
Oh, that's funny. Remember, Bills? I got a kill by like just beating the shit out of somebody.
Oh yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It's like that. That's one thing they did great. I love that because I got somebody like that one time. I beat him up. He had his gun and he just didn't see me coming. And I beat the hell out of him and killed him. That was cool. But
I swear that's one of the funniest things you can see is 2 people land in blackout and neither can find a gun and they just start having a hands fight. It's one of the most entertaining things you ever want to watch.
Oh, that's crazy. So, all right, so let's jump on to another topic. I mean, gaming. Yeah, that just goes to show you. Yeah, we do game. We know what we're talking about. But let's talk about these trades in the NFL, man. A lot of trades happen more than usual. You had the Texans get Demaryius Thomas. You had Golden Tate go to the Eagles. You had not DJ Swearinger, that damn chicken. I'm not worried about him. Clinton Dix. Clinton Dix.
Yeah,
he went to the Redskins, and it was another trade that happened too.
Dante Fowler.
That's right. Dante Fowler went to the Rams.
Which is ridiculous.
That is nasty.
Wait a minute, and I'm seeing that Terrell Pryor went to the Bills.
What?
Does that count?
It said new Bills wide receiver Pryor makes his case. In quotes, I can ball. So I'm checking this out right now.
Yeah, but I don't think that was a trade. Didn't the Jets let him go because he was hurt?
I think so.
Wants you to know he wasn't cut because of... Oh, yeah, he was cut. Yeah. Okay.
Because they said they would re-sign him when he got healthy.
And then Bill said, fuck that, we're going to take him hurt.
Bills wide receiver Terrell Pryor on if he can play quarterback.
See, this is what I was thinking before.
Quarterback. That's probably why they picked him up.
See, this is what I was thinking. Like, even before we talk about these trades, I was wondering why no NFL team really pursued trying him at quarterback because he's not a bad quarterback.
But it's been so long since he's played quarterback, and now you're asking him to possibly transition back.
I agree. I agree.
Higher.
I agree. Like now, yes, but I'm talking about when he first came in the league, they just threw him out there as wide. Now he threw a couple of footballs. He was behind center a couple times, but nobody really took the time to say, you know what, we want you to be our guy, see what you could do. Because at Ohio State, he wasn't that bad.
No, he wasn't. Mm-hmm. No, I mean, he was drafted as a quarterback when he went to the Raiders, and then things sort of went downhill by the time they started having that coaching.
Yeah, I blame that on personnel, man. You can make a case.
His receiver was Jacoby Ford.
Yeah, I think you can make a case where they probably sabotaged that dude's career by doing that.
Of course.
Terrell Pryor probably would have had a better career if he actually just played quarterback and nothing else.
I'm glad Braxton Miller went to the Texans, and they already had a good quarterback situation where he didn't get forced into playing quarterback because he actually is a really good receiver.
He's a better receiver than quarterback. I think his QB vision was not as good. I think he benefited. He kind of reminded me of Troy Smith. He kind of benefited from a talented team. He benefited from a talented team, and he actually has an arm. He just didn't have the vision.
Yeah, he was more so athletic. I mean, Braxton Miller was incredibly athletic.
Braxton Miller, Troy Smith, J.T. Barrett, all three in the same. But anyway, who do you think were the winners and losers of these trades?
Man, I got to see
the Redskins were a winner.
I agree. I agree. Absolutely.
I mean, you add big play, free safety to that backfield now, and top of that,
their defense is already pretty decent.
Yeah, I mean, their back end has two big playmakers, two big hitters, two short tacklers. And I think it's going to help out the cornerbacks a little bit. It's going to help out the pass rush a little bit.
But you know what? My concern with them getting is with Monte. It's like, okay, I understand Monte's young. I know he's banged up a little bit too. But I hope this is a situation where he can sit back and learn from Clinton Dix and see how to truly play the position so he can be back there. He's going to rotate in because now we have two true free safeties on our team now.
And based on coverage. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was just going to ask real quick. Do you think there's any way he can play maybe the slot in a big nickel formation?
You said.
What, are you talking about Nicholson?
No. Dude, you're talking about.
No. Me and you basically you asked it as a question, but I was just gonna make it as a statement. I was like, there could be formations where both of them could be on the field at the same time.
Right. Yeah.
I don't see that.
Okay.
Because they pretty much are focused on their young corners to play in nickel, and then big nickel. You're talking about Harvey Clemens. That's going to be there.
Oh, Josh Harvey Clemens. I remember he played at Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay.
He transferred to Louisville after a couple years. Then he went to the NFL.
Yeah, because there were a couple of times a few weeks ago where I was wondering why he wasn't out there because we were getting torched by like the tight ends. We were getting torched by running backs. I was like, that's the guy we normally, because they had Mason Foster out there. I was like, Mason?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, Josh Harvey Clemens is a little bigger than him, yeah.
No. Mason's bigger than Josh, but Josh is more agile and fat.
Okay, that's true. I didn't know their sizes because I already knew Josh was a fairly decent sized corner, so I didn't know.
He was tall. Yeah, he was tall.
Right.
But yeah,
right.
I mean,
what about these Eagles? The Eagles getting Golden Tate.
That's a big time target, bro. Because now, I mean, he can play slot, he can play outside. That's going to take pressure off of Alshon Jeffrey a little bit. Mm-hmm. He's dependable on third down. Like, I don't like the guy at all. I think he's a bit too animated for somebody of his caliber. But, he is a good receiver.
But who's going to run the ball for the Eagles?
That's going to be the question. I still think that the Bills might waive Shady and they'll pick him up.
That would be their only hope.
It may be some type of unwritten agreement where, okay, we'll cut him. You're going to pick him up, obviously. Mm-hmm. And, they kind of do it like that since the trade deadline has passed.
Right.
So that would be something to look at. Because right now they're talking about keeping Josh Allen out since, they have nothing to play for. So
right. I like the Golden Tate pickup. I think this is a good ideal spot for him because Golden Tate is a good receiver. He teeters on that number 1, number 2 receiver. Yeah. It's like you think he's a number 1, then sometimes he shows that he's not, and then you think he's a number 2, and then he plays like a number 1. So right. I think this is a good spot for him because he does not have to worry about being one or the other. They'll just put him, like you said, in a slot and that'll work. What about Ty Montgomery going to the Ravens? I think I've always thought this kid was a fraud. I'm sorry. I never liked Ty Montgomery at running back.
I don't know what he did in practice that carried over to the game for him to have that type of attitude toward. I mean, I know that there's 2 running backs better on that team than him, and he's probably fitter.
I just thought they just they just put him there just to save space and shit on Eddie Lacy. I never thought that he.
No,
That's the name I was thinking about.
They really put him there because they had injury problems, and of course, Eddie Lacy had weight problems. He was a placeholder. They had
that's
two
what I'm saying.
backs on
Exactly.
that team, and Williams and Jones that are better than him.
Exactly. I just never thought he was a good running back, and the Ravens just got him. I'm gonna be honest. I think if you want to talk about winners and losers, overall, you could talk about every team that lost a player lost. But as far as the Packers go, I don't think they lost. I think the Ravens lost in this one because I don't see them using Ty Montgomery the same way the Packers did. And even if they did, he wasn't that effective at the position.
And that's what sucks is, okay, let's say you put him back at receiver. There's no space for him there either. Between Geronimo Allison, Devontae Adams, Randall Cobb, there's nowhere for him to fit on that team. It was a good trade, I think, for them. The Ravens, I don't have any idea how to go.
That's what I'm saying. Like, everybody who lost players, like the Lions, they're the losers in their trade. You know, the Broncos, definitely the losers in their trade. You know, the Jaguars, what the fuck were they thinking? You know,
that is.
You know what I'm saying? But, like, with this trade, it's like the Ravens, like, what are you doing? Even when Ty Montgomery was a receiver, I always thought he was just fool's gold. I never thought he was that guy.
I did too.
You know, but let's talk about let's talk about these Rams. The Rams get Dante Fowler on top of a front seven that's already just ridiculous.
You add some athleticism to that linebacking core. Ugh, man, it's gonna be tough, man. The NFC is definitely going through Los Angeles. I don't think there's any doubt about that right now. I mean, what are they? The only undefeated team left in the NFL, right?
I think so.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. They played. This Saints game this weekend will tell you everything you need to know because they're going into New Orleans to play them. And if they play with that intensity, which personally I think they can, because I don't think the Saints defense is that good. They've gotten better within a few weeks, but I don't think they're that good. But based on this game, you can easily see where the rest of the NFC is going to go because these are the two top teams. But I'm still leaning towards the Rams because of that front seven, that defense. But Drew Brees is at quarterback, so you never know. Let's say Demaryius Thomas leave Denver. He goes to the Texans.
Yeah,
what do you think about that, DJ?
Watson, more weapons.
Yeah.
More weapons, especially on the outside.
I think that's what it is. And the thing about it is Demaryius Thomas do not have to be that guy to blow over the top like he was in Dallas. Because when he was in Denver, even though Emmanuel Sanders was there, and you know you had the Eric Deckers or whatever was there, Demaryius Thomas was that deep threat. A lot of people didn't really realize he was a deep threat. Even though Emmanuel Sanders was more fit for it, that offense was fit around Demaryius being the deep threat.
And what makes him scary is that he's kind of like that T.O. build where you can throw the ball short to him and you wouldn't expect him to, on a screen, take it to the house. And all of a sudden, he just knows how to navigate his way through a defense.
Well, not only that, you got that on top of a guy who is really a deep threat on that team already. So, I mean, and you already got you had a really good quarterback in Deshaun Watson that's really he's going to see some much better numbers now.
Just imagine if Will Fuller was healthy. Right. Because I think that's why they made this move. You know, they're obviously going to make a playoff push.
Yeah, because he went down.
They're going to win this division. And Demaryius Thomas is an upgrade over Will Fuller. He's bigger. He's better route running. He's just better. So, man, that makes them a bit scary, especially since J.J. Watt has been playing well off of that injury. Jadeveon Clowney, I know you can't stand him because he's a damn chicken, but he's been...
I may change that. I may just call him a chicken because he has stepped up. Yeah. I don't hate players who come from South Carolina and actually ball.
And even Swearinger, if you want to make that same statement for Swearinger, because you did call him a chicken earlier. So
anyway, Alshon Jeffrey,
look at this.
Hey, the jury's still out on him. Okay, Stephon Gilmore. The jury's still out on the asses. I'm sorry. I reserve. They still damn chickens. But Jadeveon Clowney, after them damn injuries he was faking, he finally got back. and he's doing this thing. So I
Still balling, and they got Tyrann Mathieu, big playmaker.
don't they got Jonathan Joseph on that team still? Another
Yep.
chicken.
And they have a cornerback who's not bad. Tremaine John. No, he's not on that team no more.
No. All right, who else had a trade? I mean, me and Pooh talked about the trade with Dallas. We talked about that last week. What are your thoughts about that?
DJ?
Amari Cooper going to Dallas.
Your team's division.
I don't know. I'm like, Dallas, to me, has lost their rhythm as far as where they're supposed to run their offense through. Right now, they're running through Dak when they're supposed to be running through Elliott. And that's a failure of Jason Garrett.
Hey, true, but I mean,
you got because look at the Washington. Look at the Redskins are doing right now.
But
we were supposed to run our offense through the air through Alex Smith. We have Adrian Peterson. He's 33 years old. He's carrying the ball more times and has rushed for more yards. I don't know. I can look at the stats right now, but right now, Adrian Peterson is number 5 in the league yards overall, and he's had in about 3 or 4 games where he's rushed for over 22, 23 attempts, 24. I think it was like 26 in week 1, and I was like, this man's 33 years old, but yet Dallas can't give the ball to Elliott that many times and control the game, because I feel like Dak Prescott is not all world at quarterback. I feel like he's a game manager. They need a strong run game, and they can play defense. I'll give Dallas that. They can play defense, and that's the formula out of the NFC East, and that's what to me has been wrong with the Redskins, because they tried to go pretty with the passing game, and now you see right now, they're leading with the run, they're stopping the run, and they're forcing teams to pass when they know they're going to pass the ball. We got playmakers back.
I got 2 words. Jason Garrett.
Yeah, he just said that.
That's what it all comes down to.
Jason Garrett,
a failure.
Jason Garrett essentially was the one that pushed out Tony Romo. He drafted, Jerry Jones drafted Dak, but never really plans to play him. Once Dak proved he could throw the ball a little bit, it was like, oh, screw Tony Romo. Screw him. Like, I'm going to prove that I can, nurture and mature a quarterback. Like, it's not what you're here for, Jason Garrett. You're here because you are a suck-up. And Jerry Jones, for some reason, likes you because he can control you. That's pretty much why. I just don't get how he doesn't get more flack, even when they win. He's basically like Marvin Lewis. He has his job saved weekly by players who are inadvertently making him look like he's actually doing something coaching-wise. Jason Garrett hasn't made a tough coaching decision in years.
I don't think he made a decision at all.
No, of course not.
I'm looking at the personnel on the field, and with Dak and Amari Cooper, and you still have what's that other receiver?
Cole Beasley.
Yeah, Cole Beasley. They look like they could be a really good team on paper, and I think, like you guys said, I think it just revolves around the coach. They need a better coach because this team is not bad at all. Even with the criticisms of Dak Prescott is a game manager per se. I think he's still good enough with the right coaching will get things done for this team. But it's just that you just have a coach. You just have a coach that just don't have it in him.
I honestly think benching Tony Romo was strike 1, and Jason Garrett's not dumb enough to get a strike 2. So right now, he's basically following the orders of Jerry Jones because he knows if he tries to do anything radical, it's over.
Yeah, they need to go ahead and just part ways with him. But I doubt it. Jerry Jones loved that guy, but I mean, at the end of the day, I'm just looking at the person. I think it was a good move, even though they gave up a first round. I mean, they needed a number 1 receiver.
Of course,
Dez Bryant couldn't get open, so they had to get somebody. Amari Cooper is that guy who actually could do something if he actually decide not to be inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
I think the personnel is there, but I mean they're always gonna be held back by the coach.
The issue
wait a minute, Bill. Before you go, I do have a correction to make because right now I'm looking at the stats.
Mm-hmm.
So right now Ezekiel Elliott is number 2 in yards, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
From what I'm seeing, he's number 2 in yards. I'm like, he's getting a decent amount of attempts, but I was looking at the game by game splits, and it was just like, okay, and it's always typical for teams that have star running backs. If they get 20 or plus more attempts, they're more likely to win the game. And it's just in those games, those winnable games, Ezekiel Elliott wasn't getting the ball.
Yeah, I mean, ever since the beginning of time, offense has been built off of running the ball, especially when you have a good defense. And come playoff time, they're gonna need that run game if they make it to the playoffs. So
yeah, I mean, I think and then when you look at the bigger picture, I think everybody except for the Giants, they didn't do too well.
God.
I mean, it doesn't matter anyway with the trades they done. I think with all the other teams in the NFC East making moves, I think it just continuously makes the rivalries much better when you're trying to do better and you want to play against your rivals, because I think you always want your rivals to be at their best when you beat them. And it's good to see, Clinton Dix going to the Redskins, Golden Tate is going to the Eagles, and Amari Cooper going to the Cowboys, and
the Giants backup going to jail.
Yeah, he's going to jail. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Now, I mean, as far as the Falcons go, my main thing, they didn't do anything in this trade. Is obviously they could have done something because they needed some help on defense. They have the draft picks or whatever to get somebody. The thing I don't like about Dan Quinn and Thomas Dimitroff, they like to stand pat. But the one thing I do like on the flip side of that, they do bring in talent that can play. So I do like that, because it was like they were stuck with Deion Jones. They love him. And I didn't know he was gonna be that good. Keanu Neal's another one. They stuck with him. When they drafted him in the first round, I'm like, what the hell? It turned out he was pretty good. Tack McKinley's another one. And they don't really try to trade for players because, like, everybody thought they were going to get Earl Thomas. Didn't happen. He ended up getting hurt. Eric Reed, they didn't get him. And even though that Keanu Neal is out, they got the guy, DeMonte Casey. He's the backup. He's playing pretty good. So it's like, I kind of wish there was a little bit more as aggressive in the front office as they are on the field. Mm-hmm. It would make a big difference in my opinion, but I mean, they know better than I do. That's why I'm not an executive to them. So
looking at the landscape real quick, I just want you guys' thoughts of going into week 10, right?
Yeah, it's week 10 coming up.
So I'm looking at the standings. All right, you got the Pats 6-2, Chiefs 7-1, Steelers 4-2, but the Bengals are 5-3, so they're basically tied. Texas 5-3.
I ain't gonna lie, man. I got a feeling, man, and I know y'all might not agree with me on this.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Chiefs are fool's gold, man.
Hold on. I'm gonna get there.
So I got a gut feeling, but I think they're fool's gold, man.
I'm gonna get there. Redskins 5-2. Rams are running away with that division. Bears are 4-3. That division's just a dogfight right now. And the Saints are 6-1, but the Panthers are right on their heels. Okay, so who do y'all think of these teams that are currently leading the division? Who do y'all think is fool's gold right now? VF said the Chiefs.
They look good. Don't get me wrong, and I like Patrick Mahomes. They're looking good. It's just something about Andy Reid led coach teams. It's something telling me that they're gonna fall on their face later on this year. Something just telling me that.
I would have liked to see the Chiefs go after Demaryius Thomas.
Now, it would have been nice to have him. Yeah, I agree.
Now we're talking about just the division leaders.
Just the division leaders right now, and then we'll talk about who we think is going to actually get the wild card, because it's getting really close to these games mattering.
Well, I already had the playoff picture. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, because I got it in front of me.
Yeah, I would say out of the division leaders, I'm looking at. Let's see. Well, the Bengals aren't leading the division. They're because of the Steelers tying the Browns, but I think it's gonna be the team that has the fool's gold is whoever leads the AFC North. Mm-hmm. In the NFC,
That's an easy one. That's an easy one. I'm not saying that you're wrong, but that's an easy one because you look at every team in the NFC North. Like whoever comes out of there is like, motherfuckers not going anywhere. I mean, I'll be honest. You look at all four of them, like, yeah, you can win a division, but good luck. Our wild card team's gonna whoop your ass. I can see it.
Well, I have an easy team in my head. But go ahead, DJ.
I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna take a huge risk and gamble on this one. I'm gonna say Rams.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say Rams because they've never been at this point. I mean, they've been at that point when they were in St. Louis, but that was like a different environment, a different team. Yeah. But as the LA Rams, they've never been there. And
not only that, they can't win big games. Atlanta went into LA and beat them.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm looking at the Rams. They're ripe for the picking. And matter of fact, I think they're going to lose this week against the Saints. So
I wouldn't doubt it, but
I wouldn't doubt it either. So I mean, I see that the Saints, like I said earlier, I think the Saints defense is suspect, but I would not be surprised because, like I said, the Rams they don't play big games very well. I mean, they almost lost against the Packers. That wasn't even a big game, but the big games, like the playoff game, I saw that team just get demolished by Atlanta, last year. So
yeah, I couldn't understand why they couldn't even do anything in that game. I was just like, right, got all these weapons.
Now, see, I know I said division leaders, but I'm looking at this NFC South, and I think it's going to be closed down the wire between the Panthers and the Saints. And I'm going to be honest, I think the Panthers are the fool's gold.
Oh, that's another. Yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, we've been talking about this for the past 2 years. Their secondary is still suspect as shit.
Yes.
Even with Eric Reed on the defense, I mean, you can't even name their corners. I mean, their corners have been terrible since Josh Norman left.
I mean, you look at their wins right now. The Ravens have no line. The Eagles have their running back completely injured. They lost to the Redskins.
But I will agree, though, that was a big win for Carolina, though.
I agree.
Because they had to come back and win that game.
Yeah, that was a very big win for Carolina.
But think about this. You gave up 31 to the Giants, who couldn't score pretty much anything.
But that goes back to the secondary. Yep. I mean... I'm telling you, man, I get you with Carolina. My gut feeling is telling me that something is up with the Chiefs later on this year. They're going to break the Chiefs fans' heart. I just, they're probably like that team that's just like 1 year away.
You know what it is? You know what I mean? Andy Reid. Andy Reid, towards the end of the season, always stops running the ball.
And not only that, he does boneheaded plays. Yeah. He calls boneheaded plays.
Right. And then you get to the playoffs and you wonder, why can the Chiefs all of a sudden not run the ball? Why can the Andy Reid-led team not run the ball? It was like that with Westbrook.
Yeah. Yeah. You know a team that I like, though, on the flip side? A team that y'all need to watch out for possibly this year, and big-time possible, way down the road possibility this year, but definitely the Chicago Bears. I'm liking Mitch Trubisky. I don't care what nobody. Bro? I like that kid.
That was going to be the other team I was going to pick. That was fool's gold. Yeah.
Easily this year.
Yeah,
easily. They're not ready.
Yeah,
they're not ready.
Yeah, because the Vikings right now are just half a game behind them.
They're not going to lead in that division. You know what? I could see the Bears falling to third.
Yeah, you could.
The Packers always make a late push. The Lions are not dead in the water yet. They got that rookie running back who's really...
Yeah, he's nice. Kerryon Johnson's nice. But, I mean, like I was saying, like, I don't see it this year with Chicago, but they got the makers of being a really good team, like, within a year or two. They really do.
I hate to...
I like the structure of that team right now.
I hate to say this because this is surprising me, but I could honestly see the Seahawks making it into the playoffs this year, and I never thought I would say that with that offensive line. But somehow, some way, Russell Wilson is having a phenomenal year. They're 4-3 right now. I'm looking at all these other teams who are on the bubble. I mean, you got the Panthers 5-2. Everybody else is 4-3.
I think you're onto something with that. I mean, they're a pretty good team. Russell Wilson is playing good football. Their defense is not. That team really reminds me of the Falcons right now. They won their last two. You look at Matt Ryan's numbers. His numbers are phenomenal right now. That's another team. If either Seattle team defense get it together, or if Atlanta gets their defense back in order as far as injuries and players coming back, those two teams could be dangerous if they do get a wild card. I'm right there with you on that one. I really believe that.
Do you guys think the Eagles make it in?
If they don't build their run game, I'm confident in their pass game. But if they don't build that run game, that was their solution last year.
It's not. That's true. But it's not even the fact that if Philadelphia does this, you need to worry about the other teams in that division doing something. Because Dallas, even though we just had our talks about Dallas, if Dallas decides to start to win games, playoff time is a different story. And Washington keep doing what they're doing. Philadelphia could find themselves in third place.
Let me tell you something. Philly faces the Cowboys twice in the next 5 weeks. They face the Redskins. They face the Saints in New Orleans.
Exactly.
It is not looking good right now. The Giants might be a dub, but after that, you got the Rams. Then you got the Texans.
Yeah, but also, mind you of this, though. The Giants are a terrible team right now. But you always got to remember, that is a divisional game. You never know what might happen.
Exactly.
And they got 3 divisional games back to back to back because they got the Giants, then the Redskins, then the Cowboys. Then, like I said, after that, they're facing the Rams and the Texans back to back. They finished the season against the Redskins. They have a possibility of having a 3 or 4 game slide right there.
Yeah, I mean, I know Pooh's probably going to listen to this and probably be shitting bricks, but I mean, that's the honest truth.
Well, that's why
look at that schedule. That's a good one. But seriously, you look at that schedule, Dallas, I mean, none of them really have it easy, but for all intents and purposes, if those two teams decide to play good football, Philly could be in trouble.
Yeah. I mean, just speak on my team real quick. We got the Packers this week. That's going to be a big-time showdown. I'm not going to absolutely call that a W.
I think y'all got it.
I think we'll pull it out, but Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. He always seems to up his play against the other top quarterbacks in the league. After that, you got the Titans. That's a wash. Jets is a divisional game. That could always go either way on the road. Then we got the Vikings. Dolphins always play us tough in Miami. Then we got the Steelers. Le'Veon might be back by then. Patriots at home, and then they're facing the Bills. I'm
glad you said that. I think Le'Veon has about next couple of days to sign or something like that.
Well, he can't sign, but he has the next couple of days to report before. I think he something.
Yeah, I saw it somewhere. I can't remember what it is.
It's gonna get ugly.
I know the Falcons played DJ's team this week. I don't know how that's going to play out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
The Falcons have won the last few games against the Redskins. I remember one that Kirk Cousins threw a late interception in overtime that was returned for a game-winning touchdown, and then I don't know what happened last year. So
I mean, I'm just astounded by Matt Ryan's numbers, and I'm not saying this because I'm a homer, but I'm dead serious. These are like the numbers that he put up when he won an MVP. I mean, he's 187 for 263. He's already thrown for over 2,300 yards, 15 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's completing 71% of his passes. This is numbers that he had prior to. I mean, these are better numbers that he had as the MVP season. The problem is, I think you guys could end up winning that game because of the defense is still they're not there at all. I mean, you're still missing both your safeties and your middle linebacker. The main thing about that is y'all could possibly run the ball on us, and Adrian Peterson, possibly the comeback player of the year, could probably get another 100 yards a game.
And I will stress this once again to the Falcons fans and everybody else who continues to belabor this stupid point. Who cares if Julio Jones has a touchdown this year? Because quite frankly, in the red zone this year, Gronk has a big goose egg in completions, and
let alone touchdowns.
They've only definitely not. They've only thrown the ball to him twice, and guess what? The Patriots are 6-2. So that's to be the least everybody's worries right now.
My main thing is that I don't let the whole thing with Julio stress me. I don't even let the team stress me anymore because I was really pissed off that he started off at 1-4, but. I mean, injuries are a part of the game, and when you're next man up, you always say next man up, but when the next man up don't do his job, you just throw your hands up and say, you know what, it is what it is. I can't stress enough, Matt Ryan's playing really good. He's playing a lot better than I thought he would. I mean, he hasn't thrown an interception in his last, 230 or 240 attempts.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like really good. And if he keeps it up, I don't know how many games they'll win, but it'll be like a Matt Stafford moment that you got all these good stats, probably one of the top players, quarterbacks in the league, and don't get recognition because you're like 7-9 or 6-10.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It kind of sucks, but I think, like I said, I think your Redskins will probably pull it out, especially if they can get the running game going.
Well, my main concern with the Redskins obviously is the passing game. I'm looking at the receiving stats. Jordan Reed, Chris Thompson lead with 29, 28 receptions, and then your receivers, your outside receivers, 18, 16, and then Crowder's been hurt, so it's been like a mash unit. We just got Paul Richardson back this last game, and I'm trying to figure out, like, they got Michael Floyd, and it's like, okay, you got Michael Floyd, Brian Quick. And it's like, why don't you start working them in a little bit more? They're big targets, Quick and Floyd, that you can actually use in the red zone to go along with Jordan Reed. So it's just like, this is where the failure of Jay Gruden as a play caller comes to mind, knowing that I'm like, okay, I have the personnel to run bigs. I can also run pick plays in the red zone. I have a run game that everyone's going to start adjusting to the Skins and putting 8 in the box. So you're going to have your one-on-one matchups on the outside. It's going to happen. That's why I think the Redskins passing game will take off once teams start stacking the box against Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably one of the ways to stop them. And I said, if y'all are going to pass the ball, you have to do like some real like three-step drops. Because that's another thing about the fact the front seven is still pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to get the passing game going, your best bet is to get the 3-step drops, quick slants or whatever.
Get Smith in rhythm, get him in rhythm, get him going.
If you try to step back and try to throw the ball, Tack McKinley and them, they're going to try to get to them, and they will, because they're a pretty good pass rushing team. Like I said, my main concern is like if just the defense in general behind that front seven. I mean, they don't have anybody. I mean, I ain't gonna say they don't have anybody, because Trufant is pretty good, but he has a problem with holding at times. You don't have your safeties, and I hate to say it, but Robert Alford is probably our best corner right now, even though he has his issues at times. So that's why I think you guys will pull it off. Plus, we're playing in Washington, so it's not going to be easy. But
yeah, about playing in Washington, that's. Yeah, we're not the best home team. I'm like, we won on the road just last week, and then we beat Dallas. That was a home game. But we tend to, piss in our pants when it comes to the home games, especially nationally televised games, which this one isn't. So that's one we don't have to worry about, but still, it's a home game. And I don't know if if the stadium is gonna be full or if it's gonna be sparse. I don't know.
Oh, okay, so since we done talked about enough of the NFL stuff, so y'all want to talk about this Maryland thing? We did say we're going to talk about the Maryland situation with DJ Durkin. I'm in the dark of all of this, so you guys can shed light on it, and I'll just react, because I know it was a big thing going on at Maryland about a player dying, and the coaches and the staff was possibly involved. But if you guys know better than I do, go ahead and shed some light and let everybody know what's going on.
Okay. I'll take the lead on this one. Well, basically what happened was that Jordan McNair, who was a player on the University of Maryland college football team, he pretty much died from, I think it was like complications from probably just heat exhaustion or whatnot, but it was I would say the late reaction or non-reaction of the coaches that didn't spot that he was in trouble, didn't really care that he was in trouble, kind of treated it as, oh, he's just out of shape type deal. I heard some reports where like the coaches were yelling at him, using profanity, throwing not just at him, but also there's a bigger issue with the culture at University of Maryland during the football practices, where coaches would like throw trash cans full of vomit, they throw food at them, stuff like that, just to get them through conditioning drills and stuff like that. So Jordan McNair passed out and then eventually died because they thought the coaches basically thought he was, just out of shape. And they said that if they would have administered, it was basically heat exhaustion. So basically, they said if they would have immersed him in cold water, like when that happened, he would have survived, or his chances of survival would have been much higher. But since they didn't, now all of a sudden you have DJ Durkin, who's the head coach, and then there's there's an assistant coach that's also involved. His last name is Evans. He was pretty much the coach, DJ Durkin, this assistant coach Evans, and I think there was somebody else that was put on leave of absence up until yesterday, in which the Board of Regents, which the story actually goes deeper than just, the Board of Regents. It actually ties into our gubernatorial race right now between Hogan and Ben Jealous. But to go back to the actual news, DJ Durkin just within the last few hours was let go by the University of Maryland after they initially reinstated him, and they reinstated the assistant coach. So right now the assistant coach is still there. I'm trying to pick up his name.
The strength coach was fired.
Okay, he was fired too? Okay.
Rick Court.
There was another guy, Evans.
I'm looking.
Yeah, I know his last name's Evans. I'm looking at it right now, trying to find out what his name is. Yeah, but I mean, if you really look at it, that's a crazy situation.
It was a totally preventable situation. But at the same time, it's like, I wonder how long before the death of Jordan McNair this was going on. Like, because this wasn't just a one-time thing. This had been going on and nobody was talking about it.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. This had
long
to be a culture
before.
for all
Well,
this.
see,
Yeah,
the thing that got me was, this shit used to happen in my school as well. Not the...
His name is... Hold on. The athletic director, his name was Damon Evans.
That's who it was. It was the athletic director. That's what okay, cool.
But yeah, like, obviously not to this extent as far as players dying on the field, but there were a lot of times that the coaches would say a lot of things that were obviously out of pocket, and a lot of people will say, oh, that's just a football environment, blah, 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 which is fine, but when you start to get into players' health, that's when it gets to be ridiculous.
I agree, because I never had a problem with a coach saying stuff out of pocket.
Yeah.
When I played ball, I never had a problem. I mean, that's coach being coach. But when he actually, like, physically get up on you, or he, actually do things to you that could mess with your health, then that's different. I mean, you have to be mentally stable to deal with what people say while you're on the field. I mean, trust me, the coach is saying something. I know there are other players that are saying a lot worse things in the heat of battle when you're on the field.
I mean,
that's a part of it. But when the coach is physically, hurting you, then that's a different story.
And that's the thing. I mean, there were a lot of players on my team. We used to have this thing called the Indian Mile, where linemen would start out and get a whole lap basically ahead of all the skill position players, and they would have to catch them and basically finish the mile before the linemen. And a lot of these skill position players were suffering during this because, it's very physically exerting to catch somebody by pretty much a whole lap around a track.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And, one day I told the coach, I was like, this is bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is ridiculous. We're the best conditioned team in the city because all we do is run. When are we going to practice football? Oh, you need to be. I said, no. I'm not practicing anymore if we're going to be doing this bullshit. Because I would go home and literally just pretty much pass out in the tub every night.
I mean, it's one thing to learn, strength and conditioning and trying to get yourself, in condition to actually be on the football field. But there's another thing where you're just doing unnecessary stuff that doesn't help your developmental growth.
There's not enough water. There's not enough water breaks. The running is absolutely ridiculous to the point where none of the football practice we do is actually productive.
Yeah, no football-based stuff.
You know what I'm saying? It's like once you do that running and then get to football, people make mistakes and you got to run again because you make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? It's a revolving. It's a circle. So I literally stopped showing up to practice. I was like, I'm not practicing anymore. This is bullshit. Because all that's gonna happen is I'm gonna run this Indian mile. Running back behind me is gonna run the Indian mile. Wide receiver is gonna run the Indian mile. Then people gonna start dropping passes. What's gonna happen? We got to run anyway. So
Right.
it's like we're not learning anything here. We're not learning the game of football. We're not learning the game of life. We're just running for no reason.
Not running, and don't know, let alone learning what's in the playbook.
That's what I'm saying. So I was like, when you want to start coaching the team the right way and stop asking why we're tired, why we're dropping passes, why we're fumbling, why there's missed tackles, all that shit, maybe look in the mirror and realize that we're running too fucking much.
Yeah. I wonder if Maryland pretty much. I think they learned their lesson. I know it's sad that politicians had to get involved, but I wonder if there's other, you know, institutions or other colleges that actually running this type of situation. And
Sure.
if they are, they need to stop.
I'm sure there are.
Yeah, if they are. They
Yeah.
need to stop. This is ridiculous. Nobody needs to die trying to play football, or even if they do pass out, they should be able to get the medical help they need so they can continue to at least live.
Yeah, it's,
You know?
it's absolutely it's absolutely ridiculous. There's pushing players to their limits, and then there's doing it because you want to assert your dominance and make an example out of somebody. And this was clearly them trying to assert their dominance and make an example out of somebody.
Now, the bigger problem with this, I'm like, yeah, I definitely have always felt for the family of Jordan McNair, because you never want to lose your son, cousin, nephew, what have you, or even if it was like a woman that had died under these circumstances, never want to
Right.
use your. Basically, you never want to lose anybody to these type of incidents, but now it's affecting the gubernatorial election to the point where the regents, 13 out of 17 regents, were selected by our current governor, Hogan, who is right now in a race against Benjamin Jealous. And they both have, let me see, I don't think so much Hogan has said anything, but Jealous has pointed out that the responsibility for the indirect responsibility, I wouldn't say direct responsibility, but the indirect responsibility falls in the hands of Governor Hogan, because it was those regents that initially reinstated Durkin in the first place, despite everything that's going on. Because I remember one of the students, one of the players, they tweeted out, it's like, it's sad that we have to, go and we, pay our respects to our fallen teammates memorial, but yet no one's really held accountable for what happened. So it's like it's not even just the coaches. It's not just the athletic director. It's not even just the president of the college. It goes all the way through the government of Maryland, and all the way to the top, to the governor.
Well, I mean, you got to think about it with a situation like this. You know it was going to get to their deaths around this time of the year. I mean, it's election time and all this other stuff, so they were going to hear about it, and it's pretty much going to be up to them if they were going to say something. And based on the outrage of some students, family members of the fallen football player, and just people on the outside looking at it, they're going to have to say something. I mean, because it was going to get back to them, so it's just an unfortunate situation all the way around. I'm actually surprised that they tried to reinstate him, honestly.
Yeah, that was it. Overall, it's just a sad situation, and really, I'm actually mad that it's being thrown around in politics in this upcoming election, because it's just
I agree. It shouldn't have, but I mean, like I said, you think about the timing. I mean, just look at it's just a really bad timing. Trust me, if this whole situation was happening like a couple months later, or if it happened earlier this year that he got reinstated, a politician, he probably wouldn't give two shits about it, to be honest.
More than likely.
So anything else y'all want to add to it? Anything else?
No.
Before we,
That's it.
because I know we're kind of pressed for time. We went over the hour. I know Bill said he had another engagement to go to. If y'all want to add anything real quick, I mean, I don't have anything else. Outside of my Georgia Southern Eagles being 7-1 and not being ranked That's some bullshit. We beat App State. We beat App State number 25. We should be at least number 25. They made us number 28.
Hey,
What kind of that means nothing. Well, anyway,
top 30.
What y'all got?
The only thing I have to say is that the Celtics need to bench Jaylen Brown.
And all I have to say about the Washington Wizards is that you need to start playing defense. That is the only issue I feel is with that team, because that's been a problem, except for 1 year when Paul Pierce was there. They were playing defense, and they were doing some great things on defense. The moment the Washington Wizards dedicate themselves to playing defense instead of worrying about certain players not being aggressive enough on offense, or obviously the whole team is not being aggressive enough on defense. You look at the Washington Capitals, they dedicated themselves to defense. They could score. Obviously, they were a good offensive team. They dedicate themselves to defense, and they won the Stanley Cup. The Washington Redskins dedicated themselves to defense. Their offense is sputtering a little bit outside the run game. They're 5-2, sitting on top of the NFC East. So when the fact that the Wizards are 1-6, about to go 1-7, and I'm getting my ass whipped because even in the 2K game they ain't playing defense, and it's like we're worried about, let's say, use an example, Otto Porter. We're worried about Otto Porter not being aggressive enough. He can't create his own shot. We really worried about the offense, where we're giving up 124 points a game, which is last in the league. It's a joke. It's a running gag. It's a internet Twitter meme. The Washington Wizards defense, that needs to change. And I don't care if you I don't care if you fire the coach. I don't care if you fire the GM. Somebody needs to get in John Wall's ear, Bradley Beal's ear, and the rest of that team, because yeah, right now, Dwight, I'm drawing a blank. Right.
Hey, man, it's still early, man. Look, listen.
But I'm telling you what, he comes, I can't remember his name for some reason, but it's just, I'm so focused on, Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard alone is not going to turn this team around defensively. The team needs to play team defense like they did when Paul Pierce was there. They played team defense. They would start shutting down teams, because offensively they are on par with the rest of the league, minus the Golden State Warriors, which obviously it's a stacked team. So
yeah, I mean, listen, my Bulls are 2-5 right now. I mean, I don't expect nothing less. Right, I still think they're capable with the talent on their team, their young talent. I still think they're capable of getting number 4, number 5 in the East. But I mean,
I told you that wasn't gonna happen.
Hey, listen, this is an 82-game season. You never know what might happen.
That's
I'm just saying,
82 more reasons why they won't get number 4, number 5.
Listen, your team has problems. You stick those right now.
Your team used to be my team, and I remember when those problems started in Chicago. So.
Yeah, 2 words, Jerry Reinsdorf.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, don't even go there. Jesus, don't go there, please.
Hey, I gave you a topic for next week.
You did. I don't have anything else, man. I think we close it out. I just want to throw it out there again. I cannot be more. First of all, I can't be more happier than having this podcast. You guys are the greatest. Even though we don't link up every week, every time we do link up, it's always a great episode. I do appreciate you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Second,
here.
Yep.
Second,
definitely.
I'm really happy with my Georgia Southern Eagles. I can't stop talking about them. I'm so happy. I'm serious, man. These guys were 2-10 last year. These dudes are absolute trash. And for them to bring in the coach, they made him from interim coach to head coach, and he basically turned this team around. They're number 1 in all of college football in takeaways. This team is really good. They went up against Clemson. Obviously, they got beat. They didn't get blown out. They got beat.
Yeah, because Florida State got blown out.
Yeah, Florida State got blown out. I mean, we held Clemson. If it means anything, that we held Clemson to 38 points in Clemson, I guess that means something. But these guys are playing really good football, and I hope that they continue to grow, because I think with them being in the Sun Belt, I think they'll be able to grow to be a bigger team and possibly get out of that conference and be in a bigger conference. South Georgia has some very good, talented football players, and Georgia Southern is no, they're no slouch as far as picking up that talent. I mean, they didn't win 6 national championships for a reason in the FCS. They know what they're doing down there, and they're just so happy. I'm just so happy for them to turn it around, and I think they're the best smallest school in the country. And I'm just happy for them, but I don't have anything else. You guys want to close it out? What you guys got?
Well, if we weren't running over, you would have to answer some charges about Red Dead Redemption 2 being overhyped.
I think it still is. I'm guilty as charged.
Yes, you are.
That's going to be a topic next week because you buttered us up real good with the way you were talking about that game starting out.
But no, he didn't butter me up. I was going to throw that out there anyway.
Man, listen.
I can fight through the emotional stuff.
I say it again. I said it on Twitter. I said it in the DM. I said it again. That game is a very good game. And the fact that it's overhyped, that doesn't knock the game off. It's just that some people in the goddamn gaming community acting like this.
Hold up. You think what you said?
What? What?
It was
like, say what you gotta say.
He was like, man, people just don't want to reveal the issues with this game.
The
just
game
like any
has
other
issues.
game. Yeah, the game has issues. But I can tell you right now, it's the HDR. At least on PS4. You don't want to play. HDR on PS4 is trash. You want to play Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, input lag. There is some significant input lag in that game, and some of the controls are.
Yeah, I haven't experienced.
Some controls are layered on top of each other. Like you can accidentally pull your gun on somebody when you're trying to talk to them.
Well,
it's over controlled.
Not
I agree.
Next 15 minutes.
No, but seriously, now I agree, DJ. You're right. That is human error. Now me, I don't have a problem with it because I'm a gamer. I can adapt to the controls issue. But
saying everybody else sucks?
Oh my God!
Absolutely.
We got to do this next week.
Absolutely. Everybody outside of this goddamn podcast can't adapt like we do. I agree.
Everybody, damn.
I agree. Everybody outside this podcast can adapt to the controls outside.
Well, they can according to VF.
No, I just think the controls are a little overlap. There are certain buttons do extra things, and it's like for a game like that, it's kind of counterintuitive. But I mean, if you play the game, you know what to do. But it's not ideal to have controls like that.
Well,
that's all I'm saying.
Well, they need
but
to
some
learn.
People, but like I said, there's some people.
Before you aim.
But like I said, there's some people out there play this game and they act like there's no problem. It's like the greatest game since God made man. It's like pump your brakes.
And for the women, God create women too. Just throw that out there. So
but I'm saying that is true. But I'm not trying to make this a gender issue. I'm just saying God made man as far as the first man that was made. Jesus. But no,
you are
like
scrambling.
Jeez.
Is Red Dead 2 the forbidden fruit that we're not supposed to?
Hey, that's totally up to y'all, man.
I had never seen anybody scramble for their life more than RG3.
Oh,
until now.
I'm gonna watch the Seahawks game this year. Then
y'all call it what y'all want, but I still stand by. I think people overhype the game. I don't think it's a bad game. I think it's a very good game. But some people take it to astronomical proportions. I'll stick with that. I still will stick with it. If you go up and down
that partial roast in, they had to, because we went the whole podcast kind of like playing court, but I had to do it. That's
fine. That's fine. And hey, look, you're not gonna get me. You're not gonna make me change my mind. You can go up and down Twitter, and I can validate my point just going up and down Twitter with some people saying about this game. Like there's no fucking problem with this game. Like it's shit, crazy.
All I gotta say is B5, we need you back on here soon.
Yep. Because I saw you on Any Given Sunday. I saw you on that podcast. B5, I saw you.
Oh, he was actually on the podcast as a guest?
Yes.
Well, him and Hard 8 go back a long time.
They made that.
So I was just
like, yeah, that was a nice guest appearance by B5.
Yeah, I get that. I expect that, but I mean, I'm not worried about B5 has been here before. It's somebody else that hasn't been on here yet.
Oh yeah,
and you already know
that's the one I'm talking about.
You already know. And why Kia?
Exactly. B5 has paid his dues already.
And let me go ahead and give a shout out to the Any Given Sunday podcast. That is a lively bunch over there with Hard Eight and crew. I
Oh yeah,
watch
it's a very good podcast.
every
Very good
Sunday.
podcast.
I used to watch
I
Wheel
am
podcast, and ever since Hard Eight started his own joint, yeah, the entertainment is there.
I'm a pretty good, I'm a pretty big fan of the Any Given Sunday podcast. I'm a Patreon supporter over there, and they're doing great things over there. I totally agree with you on that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have anything else. I'm gonna go ahead and close it out. Anything final for the last time?
That's it.
Nah, keep supporting the podcast, please.
Yeah, definitely. You can find this podcast every Thursday morning. We're gonna try to start getting it out possibly late Wednesday night, but every Thursday morning the podcast will be up. You can find it on iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube. I'm trying to get it on Stitcher and Spotify. And also you can take the RSS feed, the link will be down in the description of the YouTube channel, where you can just take the RSS feed and put it in your favorite podcast app, so you can listen to us on the go. And that's pretty much it. You can find me on Twitter, VF Baller. You can find DJ on Twitter, DJ81. Also finds Bills on Twitter, Bills4th. All that will be in the description of the YouTube description. If not, you don't watch us or listen to us on YouTube, just find us on Twitter at those Twitter handles. And that'll be it. We'll be out. Peace.
Peace.